Thank you for having me. First of all, if you have seen that clip that went viral, this is exactly how it looked. The camera right here by the pulpit and the worshippers all here. If you can see behind me, we still have some of the belongings of some of those worshippers who fled this area. And possibly some of them who were abducted. From what the information we gathered, 38 people were abducted here that night and 3 were sadly killed. I would also show you some of the scenes here in the church, and there will be some movement to the camera, so please bear with me. Some of the scenes you will see or you are about to see may be a bit gory, but please bear with me. The church still bears the scars of what happened here 2 or 3 days ago. Now, just like you mentioned, this is the Christ Apostolic Church here in Eruku community in Kwara State. According to what we heard from the worshippers here who spoke to us, and you'll get to see the senior pastor here, the bandits came in from the bush behind the church and then eventually began to attack here. Now, what you can see is still the blood stains from the attack on that day, where 3 people were killed and 38 were abducted. The church is still stained in blood. Some footsteps of some of the people who ran away. Once the camera gets outside, to the left is where the vigilante, the security of the church, was eventually dropped and killed on that day while trying to protect the people in this church, that is the worshippers who were here praising and worshiping when the attack happened. That is exactly what you're looking at, the sand stains, the blood stains, I beg your pardon, on the sand. Footsteps here of some people trying to get away while they were attacked. And it goes all the way from one entrance of the church to the other entrance. Just as we were filming, you know, we got a feel of how the people feel, to answer your question, basically a feeling of how the people feel right now. You asked what the mood is like. The people are currently living in fear. On our way here, we saw some people who were already moving their belongings and departing the community. Just while we were filming, we heard heavy gunfire twice, and we ourselves also had to run. By the time we got to safety, we were then told that it was the military who had been stationed here who were now shooting warning shots, you know, to deter people, or at least to deter maybe the bandits or anybody else who may be hiding in the bushes. But I wouldn't want you to take my word for it. I would like to speak to the pastor of the church, Pastor Bamidele, who himself unfortunately has, you know, his own relatives, or one of his relatives who is currently in captivity. Pastor Bamidele, good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so very, very briefly, I would like you to give us, you know, the history of what happened here that night.
That night, as we started praise night, between 5:30 p.m. in the evening. So when it was 6 o'clock, we just saw the gunshot there. So as we look at the back there, we saw some bandits, almost 10. They were shooting at our people. So they first shot the mission house before they came to the service and began to spray our people with bullets. They killed our security guard and 2 other persons, and they kidnapped almost 38 people.
And you said that one of your relatives, or some of your relatives, are some of those who have been kidnapped. Which of your relatives was among them?
It's my first son. My first son was kidnapped, including the wife of my assistant pastor, and other lady evangelists, and the men of the church, and the women, including the children, almost 38 of them.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor. Now, besides Pastor Bamidele, we also have Pastor Agbabiaka, who equally is one of the pastors in the church here, and he also has relatives who is still or who are still in captivity. Pastor Agbabiaka, thank you. You have spoken to us earlier before. Which of your family members is still in captivity?
My senior sister is in captivity with the bandits now.
And we hear that you people have been able to establish communication with the bandits. Yes. What are they asking for?
When we were communicating, when we were negotiating together yesterday, they said individual will pay 100 million. We later negotiated and they said 20 million per person. That was the last negotiation we had yesterday, and they promised that today they will call us around 4 o'clock, and we'll be expecting up to today, up this present moment, we've not had anything from them.
Okay. How have they been communicating with you?
They gave us one number, and the number is with us that we are calling. And when we called the number, they responded. At the initial stage, when we called the number, it was a woman that picked the call before he gave it to the man that we are speaking with. I mean the bandit.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, I want to ask: is this the first time that we're having attacks like this?
Yes, this is the first time in history in any of the church in Eruku, but this is not the first time in Eruku. About within 1 month to this present moment, it is serious. It is almost every day. Sometimes last week it was 5 times in a day that these people that they came out and they shot people on the main road. When they kill the driver, they will adopt all the passenger into the bus in order to collect money.
Pastor Agbabiaka, thank you so much. Lekon, so this is an abridged version of the entire story that we've heard today. Hopefully we'll be able to gather all the information we can and pass it on to the studio. We spoke to Pastor Bamidele earlier, and basically the people are just asking the government to come to their aid. They feel neglected. They feel that the level of insecurity here would have not gotten so bad if they actually had security presence and government presence in the community. But so far, this is how the people in Eruku community are living. Some have fled, like I said, and the rest are living in fear.
Okay, Bernard, before I let you go, just one question. Has there been any word from the police command in the state as regards trying to work with the people to rescue those who have been kidnapped?
Pastor Bamidele mentioned earlier that the governor himself was here with the commissioner of police. They were also here, and so they promised that some soldiers would come. The soldiers did eventually come. They have promised them safety and security, but of course the people are expecting more from the government's quarters. To start with, the road leading to the community, which is the first problem, is almost completely unmotorable, and if there is any attack, the first thing people want to do will be to run for their lives. It will be difficult to do that with the kind of deplorable roads that they have here. It took us a bit over 4 hours to get here from Ilorin, the state capital, and that is with the kind of speed that we're trying to come with, you know. So these are some of the things that they are expecting the government to look into. So yes, to answer your question again, the government has reached out to them, but the people are asking for more speedy responses, and largely they're asking for more security for their community.
It's a very gory situation to witness and to recount. Bernard, definitely will try to get more details from you.